Text with CBD direct oils.
CBD oils may have the health benefits for your aches and pains.
Thanks for sponsoring our show.
All right, boys and girls. It is another episode, actually episode number 211 to be specific, of PDR Tool Time. This is Hudson Tanzi. I got my friends Daniel Grom, John Renstrom, and the Vince D'Alessandro.
Hey.
How are you? I'm back. I was sick for the entire month of February, but I am back.
Yeah, you had the COVID-19, huh?
Yeah, I think I had a little bit of the coronavirus. But don't worry, I bought the entire shelf of toilet paper because I guess you get the craps when you have... does anyone get that? Does anyone understand that? Like, why is everyone buying toilet paper?
I was at Costco shopping for other stuff, and I go by the toilet paper aisle, and it's empty, right? And so by the time I was done shopping, all of a sudden I start seeing people with toilet paper in their thing. Oh, I guess they just put out toilet paper. I go walking back there, and everybody was just like mobbing it. I'm like, really?
It's not even like, is that even like a side effect of it? Like, oh, I got the coronavirus, got the craps.
Not that I've heard at all. No, it's more like a chest and head cold is from everything that our chest and head flu, because it's pretty drastic symptoms, much worse than a cold. But I totally don't. And bottled water, I don't understand why I'm not leaving my house.
Water is not going to stop working. That's so stupid.
Now, see, myself, I've just been responding to all of this toilet paper outage stuff with, laughs and bidet toilet seat, because I put a bidet toilet in my house.
I have one too.
Same here.
You got one too, Hudson?
Well, I don't have one of your fancy heated Japanese ones, but I just have like a bidet where, does the pressure wash at the butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I hardly use any toilet paper personally.
Yeah.
So it's like your guys' problem.
I will say this: I'm addicted to Costco's toilet paper. Their brand toilet paper. I don't like to buy any other brand. I think they nailed it with their.
Well, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you know they're the number one selling toilet? Or they sell more toilet paper than any other toilet paper in the world.
No way.
Huh.
Yep, that's the number one selling product at Costco.
All right. Aside, this is kind of an important topic for a shop and a route guide, but it is sort of a crappy topic. But
let's move on.
I think we need to we got to get a guest in here right away. Vince had to slowly check out. He'll be back momentarily, but we need to get Mike Toledo on the phone right now. We got some stuff we got to talk to Mike about.
We got to know about the Is it right? About tech meetups.
Yep.
Yeah. So we wanted to ask him a little bit about what's entailed in a tech meetup and what some advice if you want to have your own tech meetup. Except he's not answering. You might have missed the window.
We might have. So.
Oh well.
No worries.
But we did kind of want to talk about, so if you guys are going to have a tech meetup, what makes a good tech meetup? What kind of things do you need to have at a tech meetup?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't been to a tech meetup yet. Have you guys?
No. But I will tell you something that happened. There was a tech meetup that happened, 2 tech meetups on the same day that happened this past weekend. And the one thing that, not that I cared too much, but it was like, that's kind of weird. As if there was almost like a competition of who had the better meetup. I don't think that'd be beneficial.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah. Because if we have a competition of who has the best tech meetup, who have the most tool companies, the most gizmos, the most whatever, this and this and that. That defeats the purpose of the meetup. We already have those things. We have mobile tech. We have the Anson Bonanza. We have all those things where we can have all the gadgets and gizmos and all that. The tech meetup, though, is an entirely different purpose, and I don't think we should venture into the world of, this meetup was even better than
I
this
think the
one.
tech meetup is kind of a bridge to get those local guys to possibly go to a bigger event. But get people together. It's about the brotherhood. And Vince finally made it on. How you doing, Vince?
Doing all right. Had some technical difficulties there, but I'm here.
Good. I'm glad you can join us. What kind of things if I want to have a tech meetup, what should I prepare for? Like, food wise, do I need to have a food truck? What kind of activities should I have prepared? You know, how about going out afterwards, setting up a restaurant or stuff like that?
Okay, Vince, you're kind of the granddaddy of the tech meetups. Your California tech meetups last year kind of lit the fire for this whole thing.
Well, yeah. Well, it all started during an IMI course that we were down at Dent Time, Mike Toledo's place, and all of a sudden we had 15 guys there that knew each other but didn't know each other and stuff like that. It's like, you know what, I'm at my competition's place, but everyone was super cool. So we decided at that point. Someone said, I think it was Shane Rosas. He's like, hey, why don't we meet up every once in a while? And then it just went from there. Hey, let's start a tech meetup. And we decided on the West Coast to do one every quarter. So far we've had two. Quarterly is probably too often. Mm-hmm. But our first one was at my place. And what I did was I cooked hot dogs and hamburgers, ran out of them, sent the technician to go get some more. I had Craig and Lisa from Anson came out and brought about 3 or 4 boxes of tools just to showcase and if anyone wanted to buy something. And who else was there? There were some other tool companies. Oh, Matt Emirio from Get a Grip. He showed up.
He's like
part of the West Coast. Yeah, he showed up in Boston this past week.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, and what I suggest is either order a taco truck or order food from somewhere, pizzas, hot dogs, or grill them up yourselves.
Yeah.
What we did to combat the expense of doing that, because it cost me about $600. I supplied beer, water, sodas as well. You don't have to do beer. Our second one over at Jeff's place, Jeff McGill, he's not into that, but people brought their own, which was perfectly fine. And people brought their own to mine if they didn't like my flavor, which is perfectly fine. We had what's a cornhole there, but no one played because we were too busy talking to each other and networking and talking about what we charge or techniques. I had all my tools out so they could play around on a practice panel, and I had my hot boxes out and all the tools out so they could play around with stuff that they normally don't have and check them out. So it was tool driven. It was industry driven for your area. It was meet your competition and see that we're all on the same page. We're just trying to get paid and fix dents. You know what I mean? And I didn't go to the one in Nashville, but I was at the one in Boston this past weekend. And it was great. You know, they had about 65, 70 people show up. Some guys didn't like each other online, but they like each other now because they met each other online, you know? Or,
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, Vince, we do have a guy that was at the Nashville meetup that we can call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Todd Dickerson. Do you think we can give him a call and see what he thought about it?
Absolutely. You'll have to put the number up there for...
it's already up there, my friend. It's already up there, Mr. Technical Difficulty.
Give it a ringy-dingy.
I can't see it because I came in late.
Oh, dang it. Ring-a-dingy.
It's not how it works.
Right, exactly.
All right, but so you guys had 60-some techs at that Boston meetup.
Yeah.
So that's a phenomenal turnout, honestly, I would say.
And to be honest with you, it's not about, we didn't set up anything for afterwards or an after party. It just kind of naturally happened, but people were kind of tired from the day, and coming and going and stuff. So, some people hung out and some people didn't. We went down to Foxborough to see where the cheaters hang out. I mean the Patriots, you know, and we had dinner down there. And we just had a really mellow, good conversation. What's different about these opposed to Mobile Tech RX is there's no pressure.
Hello.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey,
Todd.
Hey, Todd, you're live with PDR Tool Time. How you doing?
Hey, good. Doing well.
So we're ambushing you right now. Hope you don't mind. You got a couple seconds for us?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Cool. So we're talking about tech meetups. You were in the Nashville tech meetup, and we kind of wanted your opinion on what was it like.
You know, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I went. It was kind of a stretch for me because, you know, I live like 10 hours away, and I had some stuff to do like on Friday, and so I wasn't able to get up there until basically Saturday at 1:00. But yeah, it was a blast. There was a lot of, there was probably, I would say maybe 60 or 70. I think that's what somebody else
Wow,
was saying.
that's a lot of guys.
Yeah, it was a good group. And, you know, a lot of people I've heard of, but never really got a chance to meet. So it was cool to talk with them and, you know, have a beer and look at some tools. It was a good time.
Was there anybody that was there that you maybe didn't like online, but once you met them in person, it changed your opinion of them?
Well, let's see.
Todd loves everyone.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm kind of I give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's nobody I didn't, you know, the people that I may not like online, they probably don't post much, you know, they're just random people that'll pop up and say rude things, but a lot of times they get kicked out pretty fast anyway. So no, I got to talk with Hayes Freeman, and I enjoyed that. It was the first time I've ever met him.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, we even a group of us even went to David Haxton's house to see his dog. So that was a fun experience.
Nice.
All
what
right.
kind of dog did he have?
He has a couple. I think they're Great Pyrenees.
Okay.
And they were puppies, but they were still like pretty big dogs. I think they're just huge dogs, so they were already big as puppies. So it was cool to see how he lives and all that.
yeah, Great Pyrenees protect the sheep from the wolves back in over there. They're big dogs.
Nice. Yeah.
John had a question for you, Todd.
Yeah.
So now, have you been to the Mobile Tech Expo?
Yes. Yeah, I go most of the time.
That's what and watching Hudson hurt himself over here. But my question is now, that's on a grand scale and everything is discussed on a national level and that sort of stuff. Now, this local tech meetup, did you find that everybody discussed things that were a lot closer to home for you?
I think that's a great question because I get a completely different vibe from the small meetup.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, you know, because I'm not big on huge groups anyway, huge crowds. I just feel like I don't get a chance to really talk to anybody very well, you know, because there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
So at these small groups, you know, that it's pretty intimate, you know, size meetups, it's like you get a chance to talk to everybody and it's just comfortable and laid back. So yeah, I feel like you basically discuss, you know, all the stuff you would just with one of your buddies. So it's really, really laid back and nice.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. Both are beneficial in their own way, but it's nice to talk to people. And that's what I said right before we had you on. I was up in Boston, and I mean, Mobile Tech Expo, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You have a whole bunch of things to see, and when you're at these little meetups, you get a little bit more personable with people and have more time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would look forward to just getting a hold of a guy that has never been to Mobile Tech Expo, doesn't do a lot of stuff online, shows up to one of these things, doesn't know what Mobile Tech RX is, hasn't seen a new tool in 20 years, and just watch them be amazed. Was there anybody like that there?
Oh man, it would blow their mind. You know, we did have one guy that let's see, I think he was fresh off of training,
Okay.
and he was an older guy. You know, maybe I don't know, maybe in his 50s, early 50s, something. But he just finished up. He's retired, I think, from his normal job, learned PDR. And anyway, I think this was like his first meetup, and it seemed like he was pretty wide-eyed and excited.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we had one too that was like, I think 3 months, and then another guy that was about a month or two. And I knew immediately because when I showed up, he was just standing by himself, right? And I walked in, and everyone's already talking to each other, and there's this guy standing by himself next to a car. I'm like, oh, that's the first guy I need to go and talk to.
Yeah.
Make it comfortable. So,
All right.
Cool.
Well, that's good information.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, giving us a couple minutes, and we'll see you maybe at the next Mobile Tech RX or Mobile Tech Expo. Sorry.
I'll be using Mobile Tech RX in the meantime.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome.
All right,
Todd.
buddy.
Well,
Thanks,
great
Todd.
talking to you.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
For those of you that have never seen Todd, he has the most amazing mustache in PDR.
with his round glasses and perfect mustache.
Yeah, I think he's Taps PDR.
Yeah, Taps. Yeah, out of Indiana, I think. So, yeah, he had quite a drive.
Yeah, he's got a great little logo and everything. He's got a good thing going there.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Met him quite a few times now. Spent some time
That's great. Now, Vince, because you did a West Coast meetup now and you did this Boston meetup, did you find that there's maybe some regional things that really truly vary, or does things seem pretty universal?
I think they're pretty much universal. The strife that we have with access, tools, business practices. I think the majority of us technicians, even if we might be great technicians, but we're terrible businessmen. So it's nice to walk into other places that are established and see how they're doing it, and then talk to other people on a business to business level. Because a lot of the times, when we're at Mobile Tech Expo, we're there to have fun, buy tools, and shoot the breeze, and just relax and not talk about business, right?
Yep.
Where it seems like when you go to these meetups, we're talking business, we're talking numbers, not so much how much we're making and whatnot, but let's keep the numbers up in our area without price fixing and stuff like that. And whoever the ones that I've been to so far, whoever has hosted them has taken the time to talk to the group of the people. So when I had at my shop, myself and Mike, we spoke for a little bit. Jeff McGill, he spoke at his for a little bit about the way he does things. John Scotto did the same thing. He took the time to tell everyone what it took to get his freaking awesome shop up and going and off the ground.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and then and then some of the vendors that came. The vendors are coming just to help out and kind of have some tools and something to talk about. Hey, I use this tool. Hey, I use that tool, because not every shop has every single tool that's out there.
Right.
Yeah. And then Gene Fetty did an awesome, demo on a live car. It wasn't a self-made one. It was a big dent that he did it.
How did that turn out? I was watching it, but I had to leave. Did they end up doing some good work on it? Or?
He just started it. He just showed how he was going to start it with Kiko.
Okay.
Products, and that's it. So it turned out great for what it was, and that was a live car that John has to fix. So John, I'm sure is probably fixing it right now.
So they had to take a little bit of care, fix it right, but Gene got a chance to show how he starts big damage.
Yes.
Now he was doing it with glue, correct? I didn't get to see the video.
Yeah, it was all glue. It was nothing. There was no tools used as of yet, but there will be.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and Scotto's has a nice shop, and he's got a really fancy cabinet system. I've looked at that cabinet system. I know that's not cheap.
Yeah, John Scotto does everything perfect to the T. Whether it's dent removal, his shop, his home, everything is ADD'd out to perfection. So,
as an ADHD person, I'm gonna let you know that's not the correct way to use. I think you mean OCD. Because an ADD person would not be perfect.
Right. Okay. Well, he is ADD though, so he's ADD and OCD. So
Or CDO.
or CDO.
It's got to be in alphabetical order.
The number one thing is he's a super awesome guy, and he'll give the shirt off his back to help anyone.
I always enjoy my conversations with John. I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, what are we talking about? Did you
You
get
tried to call Mike. Mike didn't answer. So
Okay, screw him, bastard.
Oh, don't say that about Mike.
I'm
All right,
giving
well-
you a 10 minute.
Well, while we're working out the rest of those details, Daniel, I think you and I are probably the only two that really have a lot of experience doing a hammer and dolly talk technique. But we are seeing this kind of pop through on Facebook. Oh, Vince is doing a bit of hammer and dollying as well.
Yeah, and John, I'm going to interject and say that I'm probably going to grill all you guys here. So we're about to talk about the hammer and dolly technique. And I know briefly I was never trained on it. So I'm probably going to ask a lot of questions because my fear is that this is a very visual type of thing and we're audio. So I'm going to try to ask as many questions that maybe hopefully help me understand and will help the listener understand as well. So
Sure. And just for the record, John, I did a video with Mike Toledo about 12 years ago about the hammer and dolly technique. And it was
Really?
one of his
We're going to have
biggest-
to, man, I'm going to check some pawn shops for that VHS tape then.
You're going to have to.
no, it's probably on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
So the reason we're bringing the subject up is I'm predicting that we're going to start seeing trends of tools in the near future of, different types of dollies, and people are going to start implementing the dolly technique. And basically, what? Yes, Hudson.
When you say dolly, are we talking about Barbie or what are we talking about? Help me understand. I know what it is, but for some that may not know, what is a dolly?
Metal dollies are basically metal weights carved into different shapes, forms, and you're basically putting it behind the panel and hammering from the other side while you have the dolly. And where this comes into play, where I think it comes into play, is if you got a chewed up dent and you can tell it's too stretched or any kind of stretch dent.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer, if it's a stretch dent, I like to have a rubber dolly. So it's got a rubber coating around the metal part of the dolly. That way it has a place for the metal to give and go somewhere a little bit. But I also use metal ones too. Sometimes, you need to choose which is the best for the application. And if you do that, like where I started doing this was on the mechanic Audi dent on a hood. When they've slammed the hood onto the wrench on, and you have that really sharp pointed Audi, and if you put a rubber dolly on it and you hit it with your hammer, you're flattening that out and you're shrinking that metal, where if you try to do just PDR techniques, you would just have a big lump or a volcano around the dent.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a technique I use, and I'm assuming it's hammer and dolly, but it's not using a dolly. I actually take my Grom hammer, and if I have a Porsche, I work on a lot of Porsches.
Yep.
And that front boot.
Yep.
It
Sorry.
it doesn't have a heat
A
liner, so someone will close it and it'll make this high spot, right? Okay. So sometimes it'll be a really sharp high spot. Well, if you go in there and you hit just that high spot, it doesn't just knock down that high spot, it knocks down like a quarter size chunk of metal around it.
Right.
So what I do is I'll take my Grom hammer, which is basically like the size when you're that pancake is about the size of a $50 or bigger,
right.
And I put that right underneath, and I put it up against it, and then I take another hammer, like a blending hammer, and I hit it on top.
Yep.
And then
You're doing it.
sits flat.
Yeah.
So is that the
That's exactly the same thing.
That's a hammer and dolly.
In reverse, though, that would be for a high spot, opposed to like taking out a dent. You're going to put the flat side underneath, right? And what I do is And my technique comes from the master class at Dent Wizard. We had to take a master class at Dent Wizard if you were going to get a master certification. They took a nasty knockdown and went into the quarter panel and went bam as hard as they could and put a freaking BB dent in it, right?
Oh.
They said, this is how you get it out. You put the dolly behind there and you take a Craftsman hammer with your red side and you're rolling the dolly behind the dent, right, with pressure on it and pushing on it, while you're hitting it with the red side of your Craftsman hammer on the painted surface. What you're doing is you're taking the sharpness immediately out of that dent.
Huh.
And you're fixing the dent probably to 80-90% without ever pushing it, making a push on it. Now, this obviously only happens in open access areas.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have a solution like this for a closed off area?
Yes.
Okay.
I use my Dent Wizard Master tool when I'm underneath the brace.
Yeah, you can use a sword tool.
I've used a whale tail.
They have in metal auto body. They have these. They're kind of like long spoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a spatula kind of doll.
I've used
Okay.
my glue cutter.
I have a Ultra
PBR
Dent.
tools.
I have the Ultra Dent thing with the leather on it. If I was to put that, like the other side of it, the metal side.
I don't know what you're talking about. Send up a link so we all know.
Are you kidding me?
No,
It's the
yeah,
best
but-
thing ever.
You could use the
Whatever.
CarePoint flat bar as well.
Yep.
Take the titanium tip off there, slip that underneath the brace, and that's your flat.
Anything you can get that's going to be, a good flat surface to be able to put that pressure on that dent.
And if you don't, if you have a metal dolly, you can put leather on it. Some guys like leather, and leather's great. That works great too.
I've done lots of tape.
Yeah, tape works.
I would always suggest if it's super sharp to heat it up because you will crack the paint.
Yeah, you definitely want to heat. Where I find it works really well is if you got a dent like on a BMW X series and on that reverse curve, and you've got a dent and you can tell that dent stretch on the reverse curve. If you do the dolly technique, you're able to get it out without it oil canning on you, the whole panel oil canning on you.
Okay, so then this is my question for you, Daniel. When do you want to use a dolly technique? Give me the different scenarios that a dolly technique. First, don't explain how to do it. Just tell me.
So any
yeah.
stretch dent that you can tell is stretched
Okay.
on a reverse curve.
Okay, reverse curve. Do you mean like whenever I don't know what you mean by that.
A concave,
Inside.
The bottom of the door of an X5.
How it curves, like it makes an inward. Like it's
Curves
like a half,
inward.
almost like a half pipe.
Yeah.
Use my
Yeah,
millennial
it curves
language.
inward. So
Okay.
if you go in there with the PDR tool, that whole panel will oil can because it's a reverse, and you can't even see your tip. It's really difficult. So that's
Yes.
a great way to just get the meat out and get it started, and then you can go through and finish it off.
Okay, so you can use it on that, on a sharp dent. So those are the two areas. Is there any other scenario where I'm going to
Yeah.
want to do a hammer?
So when the dent runs across the beam and it rolls over the beam, and
The
you've
beam.
got
What do you mean by beam?
What are you talking about, beam?
brace,
Beam?
Brace.
yeah, the brace.
On
And
what?
on any car,
Okay.
where it has the round type of bracing. It's the dents goes through that. When they're at an angle and it's kind of wrapped around there. If you can take your master tool and slide that between the brace and the door panel and hammer dolly that out, that works really well for that kind of a situation.
Okay. So if I'm a tech and I have a really sharp dent and I want to attempt to do the hammer and dolly technique and I do not have a dolly, what you're saying is I need to find a wide, flat piece of metal.
Yep.
So a extra wide well tail, maybe even my
You need something heavier than that.
Thicker.
thicker.
Yeah. I mean, you
Okay.
can use a hammer like my hammer, like you're saying. But if you go to any flea market, garage sale,
Harbor Freight?
flea market, you're going to find old hammer bodywork dollies. I mean, that's where I bought all my old stuff.
On the statement of Harbor Freight, you better be very prepared to get in there, sand, grind, and polish that crap out.
Well, but if it's from the underside, like is the dolly technique. So that's where I need to understand. What I'm understanding is the dolly doesn't need to be like super polished or fancy on the underside, but on the top side, I'm probably using one of like my blending hammers, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want that
Or Craftsman
coarse
hammer.
metal. You don't want that super coarse metal that's on those Harbor Freight dollies digging in and stretching the metal more.
Okay, that's a good point. Good point there. Okay,
and those are coarse mold on those Harbor Freight dollies.
Okay, so what you're saying is I'm going to take a big chunk of heavy metal that's typically flat or a little bit rounded. I'm going to put it on the underside, and then I'm going to take another hammer that is safe for the paint on the top. And where am I going to hit it? Am I going to hit it directly directly in the middle of the dolly, or on the edges?
Yeah,
right where the dolly is.
Yeah, and you're going to roll it. You're not going to keep it in one place. You're rolling it around.
Now, when you say roll it, what do you mean?
Click. You see with my hand, right? So click on the link up there, and you'll see exactly how it's done.
Well, I get it. Are we going to put this? We're going to put this link in the show notes. Is this available for people? Okay.
Well, it's not the full video because the full video is
on Dent Trainer.
Yeah, you have to pay for it. But you could gather what I'm doing based off of that link, and it's just a teaser that Mike put out back in 2009.
Wow,
I looked very young in that video.
Haven't you ever been into? Don't you have body shop accounts and ever watched body men use a hammer and dolly?
Oh, I think those skills are going away, brother.
Yeah, man, it's all panel replacement nowadays. But no, I know what you're saying. But I know I have a general idea. I know I've seen it, but I'm trying my best to ask the most questions possible for someone who potentially hasn't.
Hudson, you have a truck, F-150, Silverado, or Dodge, whatever, 1500. You got a dent on the bedside, in front of the wheel, or behind the wheel. We'll just go in front of the wheel, and wide open access. It's a sharp dent. You can put your hand and touch it, right?
Yeah.
It's sharp dent, terrible leverage, right?
Yes.
Terrible leverage, but you could get your hand up there. If you could get your hand up there, you could put a dolly behind there.
Okay.
And roll that around on the surface of the metal.
Now, roll it. Do you mean like rocking it in a 360 degree way?
360, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. While you're hitting it with a Craftsman hammer, red side on the painted surface. If you're using a blending hammer, it better be a really small, flat, like flatty type of thing. You don't want anything that has any curves to it because you can chew it up.
Okay.
It's got to be flat. Yeah.
Okay. I think you guys have explained that enough in ways where I understand it. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great advice.
Has a little. Do you constantly roll the dolly, Daniel?
Yeah, I move it around. When I'm using, that's more. I think that's kind of more of a technique I use with a solid metal one.
Yeah.
If I've got the rubber one, it's more forgiving.
I've never used a rubber one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I
got 3 kids. What's a rubber?
Well, Steck makes some dollies, and they have rubber covers that go over their dollies.
Yeah.
And that's probably maybe the best system to get because you have the best of both worlds. You're getting one set of dollies with rubber covers.
Now, I'll throw you out.
What's that?
I'll throw you out something a little bit different there that got used as a dolly. I almost ordered a rubber dolly way back when I was still doing conventional body work. They come out, and the design of them really got popular for the use of replacement of door skins, so that you had the dolly on the outside of the skin as you rolled the lip over on the metal framework. And that rubber dolly didn't tear up and do a lot of damage to the surface, so you didn't have to use as much filler. I come from the old school body man background. My dad was a body man trained in the 60s. So we always had the rubber sanding blocks from the old school wet sand days. Big red rubber sanding blocks. You don't even see them anymore. Yeah. And I've always used that. I think I still have one of those out in my toolbox that makes for a nice rubber dolly surface.
You have the nails that you put the
Yep.
paper on and then turn it over and dig it in there.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yep,
gosh.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we've reached the end of that there subject.
Yeah.
I think we've talked enough. I mean, we're like, hey, let's just talk about that for 5 minutes, but that went for a while. So
Yeah, see if you can, give it a try. Try to, experiment. Maybe get a fender that you can practice on.
hey, if you're someone that's listening to this right now and you use this technique, I would love to see a video of you using that technique and posting a video on the PDR Tooltime Facebook page.
Yeah, that'd
So
be awesome.
I would love to see it. I mean, we could all do it, but to see it from someone else, that's even better.
Yeah, I see guys posting stuff about some of the body tools, the dollies out there, but they never show the techniques. They're just, they're throwing out like tools out there that are in the universe, but let's see how you use them.
Yeah, absolutely. So to get to our next little segment here that we'd want to talk about. Ooh, what is that?
Our next
Oh, we
segment.
got some
Our
sound
next
effects.
segment. Yes, it's magical. So there is a Facebook group out there that I follow and I listen to. It's called PDR. I think PDR Retail Shop Advice. And I don't have a retail shop, but I love learning in any way, shape, or form I can. And though I personally don't want a shop, I still can learn from those guys. And they were talking about texting versus phone call estimates. And a lot of guys were very, very, very against text message estimates. I personally am on the text message side. So I thought it'd be good to open up a conversation about this because I think there's pros and cons of both. Right, gentlemen?
Well, I think most of the guys that are for texting are mobile guys.
Agreed.
I don't do that because I want people to come into the shop. I want to get in front of them. In fact,
Yes.
when people call me and ask me for an estimate, I tell them, well, nowadays we use software. We scan the VIN. We want to know what the panel is made of, aluminum, high-strength steels, that sorts of things. Want to see a 1/4 inch can mean it's behind a brace and not behind a brace. So it can be, can mean $50 difference in an estimate. If I give you one over the phone, it's not going to be accurate. So that's my spiel that I say.
Yes, I 100% agree. If I had a retail shop, I would definitely call someone on the phone. And guys, I'm sorry, it's around bedtime around here, and
That's okay.
You might hear my kids. So if I had a retail shop, I would definitely want to get on the phone and get, have that personal touch and have the customer say, hey, just bring it here and we'll estimate it here, right here. And then I'm assuming you estimate it and then they say, oh yeah, that's a great price. And then you just fix it right then and there. Is that how it goes, Daniel?
That or schedule.
I can come back and I have to make an appointment. I'm at least a week out.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm mobile retail. And so for me, I used to do all phone calls, but what I ended up having was a lot of people like, well, I thought you said this much, or I thought you had said this much. So I switched to a text message based system because then I have an actual record
right.
of it, of like, okay, I literally said this so that we can go back and I can show you. So that was how it started. But guys, I've created a system where I'm having a lot of success with text message estimating. It's not, I will say this, Daniel, it is not my first choice. But what's the old adage about something is the necessity of all invention or whatever?
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
What do you do, Vince?
I do both. I allow people to send me text messages, and I have a little system in place for replying to them. My big thing is to capture the customer before they go to the next person on Google that did not answer or did not respond to them. So
Yes.
I would rather get something to them of either a price close to it, or if it's any big body damage, I will not quote any big body damage over a text message at all. You have to come to the shop for me to look at it. If it's normal door dings, I ask them a series of questions. Year, make, and model. To put a magnet on it. Can it stick? The same things that I would ask if I was talking to them in line. I throw it all out in one shot because I don't want text messages back and forth.
Do you caveat it with price can vary depending on personal inspection?
Yeah, this is an estimate. The price might possibly go up unless, most of it's slam dunk because I tell them how to take the picture and I know already.
Right? Yeah.
All of us have been doing this long enough to have a Rolodex in our brain to know if they say a BMW M3 left front door, we already know it's a 2-door. There's braces in there, and boom, boom. We kind of have an idea.
Do you try to upcharge if you find that it is behind a brace? You thought maybe it wasn't.
I do, and then once they bring it in, I look for additional damage on the panel that I'm upcharging on, or walking around the car and to their chagrin, I'm pointing out additional damage on their car, which they don't always like.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was there. What? Oh man, how much is that going to cost me now?
Yeah. I'll use that as an opportunity to throw in something for free. Like if it's a dent in the panel, I know it's going to take me like 10 seconds to fix. I'm like, hey, I see this extra dent. I'm already in the panel. I'll just take care of it for you.
Yeah.
And then I also make sure to like, hey, also, we love reviews.
Right.
But so what I ended up having was, like I said, people saying this or that. So I started doing a text message thing. So Matt Moore, it's funny how y'all talk about like how this ties into tech meetups. Matt Moore and I, we talk on a regular basis. Me, him, Hayes Freeman, we got a little group chat going, and he really, really pushed me to getting like an admin. So I created a system via text message and phone calls to where someone who doesn't even know how to do dent removal can now estimate for me so that I no longer have to take phone calls or text messages, and I can remove that completely from my life. And my admin, she is now capable of estimating for me. So if we learn how to estimate properly via text message or phone calls, you can eventually, if you grow your business enough, remove yourself from that part of the company entirely. And actually, they'll probably do it better than you because they're getting paid to do that. And you are so busy fixing dents, you can't give them all the attention you need. And this person, their sole job is to answer the phone and the text messages. And they're going to give them...
goes back to prior episodes where we talked about having that office staff. And
now, do you base your estimates off of Mobile Tech RX?
Yes. So I do the Paul Corner price guide, and
really,
I use that. Yes, absolutely. So so what I do is I require, for me, just I'm just going to share what I do in hopes that it can help anyone that is a mobile person. So here's the deal: is if someone calls me and they have a dent, I don't want to drive to their house to look at it. Okay, that's a 30-minute drive or 20-minute drive. I don't have time to do that. So I ask for a left, center, and right photo via text from the 15, and I say I need a 15 to 20 degree angle from the left and the right, and then straight on. I'm asking your year, make, and model, and I can gather most of what I need and what panel it's on. Right? We can gather a lot from that information as dent.
You have this all pre-done, and you just cut and paste, right, or whatever.
Yeah, I have a lot of like the text things saved. John got on to me for that, so I saved all of it.
Text replacements, right? So right now, like I have a great a customer sent me a picture right on the body line, and I asked them some questions. I go, "Is this a 2 to 3 inch dent?" They're like, "More on the 2-inch side of size." And this is what I say. This is on a Tesla Model S, which requires the door trim to be removed. It was on a body line and the glass to be removed. So let me just tell you guys what I said. Okay. I go, okay. That dent unfortunately requires us to remove the door panel and glass to fix it. Just FYI. And here's where I have like the breakdown. If you just put a number out there, they're not going to bite. But if you give a price breakdown line by line of what it costs, I close like 75% of my stuff now based off just text. I don't even have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And it says,
right there with you.
yeah. And so I say, and this is what I have saved. We base all our pricing on inches of damage and various factors like metal type and body line shaping. A 2-inch dent equals $200. It's aluminum, so plus 25%. Body line reshaping, plus 25%. Interior panel removal, $50. Glass removal, $25. A ballpark estimate. Now here's the deal. I give a $100 ballpark estimate. So a ballpark estimate equals $350 to $450. Here is an actual customer's reply to this quote. A 2-inch dent on a body line on an aluminum Tesla. My guess is because the need to get in front of the structural steel. That seems pretty damn fair for aluminum too. I have the 21st off. After that, the 27th. When can we schedule? When you break it down and you explain your price via text and it's there in writing, boom. And they also know that it's $100 price range. I'm going to get there. I'm going to measure it. If it's a 3-inch dent, it's going to cost this much. If it's a 2-inch dent, it's going to cost this much. And they're aware of that. And they have that price range.
Gotcha.
So
So
I
Vince,
think,
do you throw out that price range as well?
Not normally, no. I'd like to get in front of them. I do if I go mobile, but I really don't go mobile that much anymore. I try to get them to the shop. It's all about getting to the shop. I go off the tactical dent calculator in Mobile Tech RX, and I also have it printed out. So when I walk up, I mark it there with a dry erase marker and measure it on the spot.
Now
I just can't get Paul Corden prices unless I'm dealing with an insurance company here in Southern California.
Now,
Okay.
let me ask you this, John. Are we ever going to see text messaging through Mobile Tech RX?
You already can.
Want to.
Huh?
You already can.
You can?
what?
But now you're not going to be doing the direct text messaging back and forth. We do have the text reminders, so you can send out appointment reminders. You could send out other data right through text messages.
Wait, what? Wait, how do I not know about this?
Come on now.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Just
We're all
learning
pulling off our phones.
We're all pulling out our phones. Like, okay, hold on now. What's going on here?
Is this in the last update?
No, this was in an update a while back. In fact, I didn't even get notification. I found it like 2 updates later.
Okay,
I'm like,
where do I go? Where do I go?
Where's
I got it
Okay.
open right now. Where do I go?
Yeah, I got an estimate open.
All right, so go to an estimate
Okay.
for one of your customers.
Yeah.
Open that estimate.
Yeah.
Now open up the right side menu, just like you're going to do the print and preview.
The 3 dots. Yeah.
Yep. Go down to alerts.
Okay.
Nope. Where's alert? Oh, alerts. Oh, got it.
Click on alerts.
Create new.
Create new alert. You'll see how it auto-populate their phone number if you have their phone number in there.
Holy hell.
Holy crap.
Now you can set all of these alerts within your back office portal, and you can have as many as you want.
What?
And you can even link to your Google review sites. So when you send off, now this is on estimates and invoices. And when you send off your invoice, right then when you're still in that closed invoice, just set that alert for say 2 days later, where you send them, hey, this is, Hudson with Dent Gents. I hope you're still really happy with our repairs. Please don't forget to leave us a Google review with your Google review link right there.
Guys, this
and you just
I
preset
just-
that in your back
We
office.
just got blown. Our minds are like exploding right now.
this was not staged. Like, I promise you guys, this is all brand. This is freaking amazing. Holy crap.
All right.
Right now, our team is putting out so much stuff. Honestly, I can't even keep track of it.
Holy
I had to learn
crap.
so much.
Can we
makes me
just
so
end this
happy.
podcast now so I could go play with this, please?
Yeah, right.
Credit cards.
So excited.
I just
Okay.
found out that our ability to take credit cards is probably only a few weeks out now.
But what's going to be my service charge?
Well, I don't know yet. I haven't got all the numbers. It's a
Oh,
few
okay.
weeks.
Just be
out
excited
yet.
about it.
I'm
I'm
sure it's
excited
going to be
about
the
it.
same as everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's going to stay right in line.
To loop us back around, I think the disparity between you should always call or you should always text is, I think there's definitely a difference between if you're mobile or if you're retail. If you're retail, you should be calling and have that personal connection. and talking to the customer to come your way, right? Vince?
Honestly, I'm going to say this, Hudson. I think it's going to be situational dependent, and you better remain flexible and be prepared for either one.
I love it.
Quite honestly,
I love it.
Because as somebody who deals with the mass public, even though I'm dealing with you auto recon techs, there are so many people that will only deal through either email or text.
Wow.
And then there's some people that always want to deal with on the phone.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the public is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, and I'll still call before doing like a chat bot or a text or an email. Like I'll call a company before anything, and I'm a millennial. So,
but hey, we got
right. I got $38,000 in this screen of outstanding estimates that I've done. Right.
Yeah.
I can now go back and text all these people and say, "Hey, have you had your work done yet?
Holy moly!
Here's a 10% discount." If
we're gonna have to do a whole nother show on
Dude,
that.
yeah, we got an entire show on that. Is freaking like Vince, that alone. Now it just makes me want to get people's information and put it in mobile tag. Holy crap.
Yeah. So okay, we have one last thing that we haven't talked about in a while.
coronavirus.
Well, no, we're not talking about coronavirus. I had a little cold there last week. I called it Corona Light. But Vince, how are things going with the shop sale? What's happening there? I know clock is ticking.
Okay, yeah, the clock is ticking big time. Thanks for asking. You know what? It's going. It's not going in my favor. It's going to go in a buyer's favor because we've lowered the price. I've had a handful of guys on the hook, but no one. They're just nibbling at it, and I don't know if they know if there's a time frame on this. A lot of our listeners know that I'm moving in June, so maybe they're waiting for the fire sale. I don't know. Everyone that walks in there loves the shop, loves the way it works and the business and everything, and they see improvement and growth that they could do, but no one's made an offer.
It's a perfect opportunity for somebody from Minnesota that doesn't like the cold and wants to relocate in beautiful sunny Southern California.
Hey, I've been to your shop, Vince, and it's a really nice setup. And
plus, you got a pot store across the street, man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
If you got money to smoke, you got money to get your dents fixed.
Right? Exactly. But so I appreciate you asking. It is coming down to the wire because it's going to be one of those things that I'm probably going to sell it to my partner, which it would be much better suited for a PDR guy to walk in there and instantly make their money back probably within 6 to 8 months. So it's a prime deal. I got to go. It doesn't matter either way. I got to go, and it's going to sell. It's just, I'm just waiting for that offer.
Hey, Vince, this isn't me trying to sell it for you, but so when you say you're selling your shop, basically you're selling not only a physical retail location, you're also selling a customer base, that a Yelp presence, a Google presence, a website. 20 years.
Yeah.
You're selling 20 years in one area.
Yeah.
Where people know where you are.
I have not advertised in 7 years because everyone knows where I am and the reputation already. So,
well, crap. I mean, that sells it in itself. Like if you are anywhere in California and you're looking into retail space, why the hell are you not talking to Vince? Sorry, that's just me personally speaking. If I lived in California and was looking to get into retail, that's like a hook, line, and sinker.
You're
right
walking
there.
in, you don't have to do any of the hard work. It's already done for you.
Yeah, it's
the prices have dropped to $199,000 now.
He's handing over 20 years of freaking built up business. I'm gonna tell you this right now, guys. I have 14 years right now this year. I don't advertise ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I have enough word of mouth.
Yeah.
Just in 14 years. Add 6 more years of that and a retail location. Holy crap.
Right? Yeah. Well, someone will grab it. Hopefully.
Sorry to go on that rant there,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
sure
but holy crap. Why are you guys not hopping at that?
I don't know.
That reminds me, if you guys out there are feeling any aches and pains, don't forget to get some CBD from CBD Direct. What is the code for CBD Direct?
PDR TT15, I believe.
Yeah.
PDRTG.
And that gives you what kind of discount?
15% off.
Wow.
If you're feeling the aches and pains of not being able to sell your PDR business when it's a freaking giveaway,
Don't mind.
here is some CBD.
Yep.
All right, Daniel, take it away, sunshine.
All right, boys. Level up your tools, get on Mobile Tech RX, and start texting your heart away.
Don't do stupid stuff.
And keep it stiff. Thanks for listening.
Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors. Thanks for listening.